Hey guys, mystery boxes are fun, but sometimes the mystery part goes a little too far. Some kind of pop and some random t-shirt, but who knows what else. Heck, is the rest of the stuff even worth it? If you want a box that caters more to your liking, try Zanini Box. Pins, trading cards, that's it. No cheap add-ons or fillers, just pins and cards that are movie, video game, and comic book themed. With 7 choices of subscriptions, you can customize your experience with a little less mystery and a lot more of what you're paying for. Visit zaninibox.com to customize your subscription now, and you can enter the code CBU20 to take an extra 20% off your entire order and let them know that Professor Bill sent you.
Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Oh looky, I brought a chillmonger.
What's going on, people on the interwebs? You're watching channel Comic Book University.
That was probably the worst opening you've ever given, but that's fine. That's fine. We're only on episode 29.
Oh, you're like Robin from Project Power.
Oh yeah, hey, we should definitely talk about that a little bit later. For now, do we have anything else to talk about?
DC and DC.
Yeah, we've got a lot of DC to talk about because that's all that's on the map. Before they completely go out of business, which I think that they're about on a timer right now, brah. So you heard about all these freaking cancellations and everything and the firings?
No. So tell me who got fired.
Everybody!
Is Geoff Johns still there?
Geoff Johns isn't really a part of DC Comics.
Wow.
Like he writes, but he's not he's kind of out there. Yeah, Johns is still technically there, but like they got rid of the editor-in-chief, Bob Harris, who, mind you, like him and Jim Lee, like they are interchangeable. Like, what do you call it? Harris was hired by Jim Lee for here, but before that, it was Harris who hired Jim Lee to work someplace else. Like they were always bouncing around and helping each other out. Like they're close, Harris is the guy who, I believe he was the guy who replaced Julius Schwartz. I could be wrong on this though. For editor-in-chief for a while now, and he's definitely been mired recently in allegations that he allowed a lot of sexual harassment to happen in the comic book industry on DC's side. Because wow, like all the Warren Ellis stuff that came out, yeah.
Oh, so it's related.
No, it's actually not. Believe it or not, it's just because they were taken over by AT&T. And AT&T came on and they looked at the books, and I doubt anybody from AT&T, in this company buyout, I doubt any of them are actually fans. So they're like, oh yeah, Superman, I know Superman. Batman, yeah, I know Batman too. Aquaman? Wait, you guys still make Aquaman? Like, I don't think they don't have any sentimental attachment.
Take that one back. Aquaman made $1 billion.
Well, this is true, which is why they're not canceling Aquaman 2, the movie. But they canceled Aquaman, the freaking comic book.
Wow.
That's actually a little bit more in detail. I'm gonna go into more detail on that a little bit later. But for now, like that's the one comic book that's actually iffy. There's a story behind that one. But for now, yeah, editor-in-chief Bob Harris out. Senior VP of Publishing, Strategy, and Support Services, Hank. This is last week that I wrote this stuff. Hank Canals.
Not
out.
Hank Canals.
No, that's right. He's gone, man. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Nice one. VP of Global Publishing Initiatives and Digital Strategy, Bobby Chase. Some of these guys with the long names, I think they were just like, I'm not remembering all that crap. And your freaking desk nameplate takes too much space, so you're out. Senior Story Editor Brian Cunningham, out. Executive Editor Mark Doyle. He's the guy who created Black Label. Yeah. He was the one editing all the Black Label stuff. Mark freaking Doyle. That's actually a really messed up one.
The Batwing. That was his fault.
Must have been. Jim Lee, however, is still the CCO. This is from a Deadline.com article. So listen, I am not like a lot of the other guys out there. I know that you also. We are not celebrating any of these guys out. We're trying to make a little bit of, humor in this because this is a really messed up situation. At the same time, is this basically just the chickens coming home to roost? Because I talked about this on my live stream today. these guys at DC, these execs, all of them, what have they been doing as of late? What is DC, what has Warner Brothers as a whole been doing as of late? For the most part, putting out movies that were just critical failures at the box office until Wonder Woman and Shazam and Aquaman, as you just mentioned.
By the way, the Aquaman comic, only 17,000 sales, which is more than 10, but yeah, that's pretty low. You would expect more from a character who's been here for so long.
But yeah, Aquaman has been a mainstay for a long time, and he's got a huge fan base. I am one of them, but I haven't been particularly happy with Kelly Sue DeConnick's run as of late. I did fall off the comic book. It just is what it is, but it's freaking canceled. Well, like I said, I'll get into that in a bit. But with Jim Lee still there, yeah. Okay, so let's break into the idea of the interview that he did recently. So this interview was on Games Radar, and he was pressed on only 2 points. It was mostly just talk, we'll listen, but they really only pressed him on 2 points. One of them being, what's the future like? Is DC being canceled? And he did not answer.
Ooh.
He gave pretty much, like, the whole entire interview pretty much went around the idea of, you asked me a question, and I'm going to beat the hell around the bush for a really long time, never actually tackling the question. And then I'm going to accidentally answer the question and then walk it back really freaking hard and then dance around it some more. And I can imagine if this was an actual, instead of a written interview, I can imagine if this was an actual verbal interview, it would be twice as long, because he'd be going, and looking at notes, what he's allowed to say and what he's not allowed to say.
And it's important to believe women, he would say constantly.
Why would he say that?
This is because Kelly Sue DeConnick had a verbal interview where she was talking on her Instagram, and she kept stuttering and she kept saying, I definitely believe women.
That's right.
That's what I was calling back to.
She had the two. Yeah, I watched them both, and wow, that was painful.
Yeah.
God, that was painful to freaking watch.
So if I'm Jim Lee and I'm asked that question, the answer is no, we're not going out of business, but we're going through changes right now. I can't tell you everything that's going on because we're still going through it, but they're definitely not going to cancel DC. Rest assured, fans. That's all you say. And
Chillmonger, that little bit that you just said, guess what that makes you?
Smarter than Jim Lee.
Well, more qualified than Jim Lee. Hey. Yes. Jim Lee is an amazing artist, and no one with 2 brain cells to rub together could ever take that away from him. And even half the people with only 1 brain cell are still saying, no, he's a great artist. You know, saying you can't take that away from the guy. But everybody putting this guy in charge of stuff is freaking asinine. How old is the guy now? And he's shown time and time again on full display, he is not qualified to be in charge of his freaking laundry, for crying out loud. Like, I love the guy. Jim Lee, like, is just an amazing human being. He's such a wonderful human being, but let's be realistic. Even any of his public decisions that he has done as far as COO, or even when he was in charge, you know, one of the founders of Image Comics was always, I'm going to draw some stuff. Yeah. Listen, man, I may think that people have great personalities, but I'm not going to put them in charge of a freaking military brigade to go and take on the enemy just because I like them as a person. Sometimes you're qualified for a job and sometimes you're simply not. And Jim Lee simply should not be there. I've worked in business internationally, for crying out loud, for years now, and only taking off for the past 2 years. Dude, the guy, I wouldn't put this guy in charge of the coffee machine. Like, he's terrible at the job.
The
great human being.
Coffee machine.
Did I really say it like that?
You said coffee. Hey, I'm walking here.
Don't make fun of my Italian. But no, I'm okay with that. I laugh about that. It's all good. Don't mess with my freaking coffee machine. By the way, you know that I'm walking here. That was actually unscripted. A taxi cab actually did come out of nowhere. You know that story?
Yeah, I saw the clip.
That's freaking great. But, like, all the love in the world to Jim Lee, but at the same time, being realistic, the guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he's just a figurehead, and they need to stop. He needs to stop accepting interviews. They need to stop putting him out in front of these things. He's not qualified. He says that they're going to hire chief executive manager, blah, blah, blah. Basically, a guy who is under him and probably getting paid less than him, who's actually going to do all the work that he's supposed to do, or more specifically, the person in his position is actually supposed to do. But there's no word on who that's going to be or when they're looking for it or whatever. So, yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up. At the end of the day, they have canceled comic books, dude. They have canceled comic books.
Just Aquaman?
No. Hold on. First off, they've already canceled Harley Quinn, Batgirl, Red Hood Outlaw, Justice League Odyssey, Batman and the Outsiders, a whole bunch of comic books, right? Some of them actually pretty good. Well, they just announced another set of comic books for the November solicits, which means in November, they're going to be canceled. Suicide Squad, issue number 11 is going to be the final issue. All of these 11. At issue number 11. The Tom Taylor comic book, one of the best writers in comic books, probably the best writer in comic books today. Like, holy crap, this guy is freaking murdering it. Young Justice number 20 canceled in November. Teen Titans 20. That can't be right. I think that's on issue 49 or something like that. That's a lot higher than freaking 20. Anyway, Hawkman issue number 29 ends on the 10th of November, which is Hawkman's anniversary. It's Hawkman's freaking anniversary. Wow.
Didn't matter.
It's almost like they took pleasure in that one. Bunch of bastards. Hellblazer, John Constantine Hellblazer, issue number 12. And now I'm going to get into Aquaman. It changes in issue number 65. Now, Aquaverse, I think they're called. I probably should have looked a little bit closer. Anyway, this is a Twitter account that handles Aquaman. That's cool. No love apparently for Hawk World, which is the Hawkman, thing. And DC's never had a single interaction with them before. That's disappointing. But with Aquaman, that Twitter handle, they actually give them a little bit of love. So apparently, from what I hear, they get a couple things in advance. They got something in advance here. So Kelly Sue DeConnick goes on to explain that the final issue, the finale, her final issue she'll be doing will be issue number 65 of Aquaman. And she goes on to say that there is no new creative team for the book. Okay.
Is that her business to be announcing, though? That's never something we say.
Well, for one thing, why the hell not? Because just like we talk about with the wrestlers, these guys aren't hired by DC. They're just contractors. See, that's something that I actually want to bring up also. The idea that these writers and these artists for Marvel and DC, they're not employees. They don't get health benefits. They don't get a 401k. They only get a paycheck. And if this paycheck was worth its salt, then all of these writers wouldn't be moving to freaking Oregon, of all places. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't get the correlation. Is it cheap to live in Oregon?
Oregon is a very, very cheap place to live.
Okay.
Yeah, probably one of the cheapest in the United States. That's actually still, I don't want to say civilized, but I'm like a CH away from saying civilized. Yeah, like that close.
Okay.
Like, these guys are not getting paid. Like, I know what some of these writers get paid for what they do. I get paid more as an English teacher, and teachers don't get paid a whole lot.
But let me tell you what these books are paying. Red Hood Outlaw, that's 14,000 sales. I'm looking at March, by the way. Mm-hmm. Hawkman in March made 12,000 sales. Mm-hmm. You said Teen Titans, issue number 40, that was only 16,000 sales. Justice League Odyssey, 16,000. Aquaman, 17,000. Young Justice, 19,000 in March. Harley Quinn, 21,000. These are the lowest of the lows.
You're right, they are. And Jim Lee discussed that also. He mentioned how a lot of these books are going to go to digital instead. And if any of them sell great digitally, well, then he'll make physical prints of them. This is going to kill the market. This is killing the market dead. Because for one thing, your book's coming in on Tuesday in the comic book stores instead of Wednesdays. Yeah. Okay, cool. They're going to go
elaborate
digital.
though. Don't just okay, cool. Tell me why that's wrong.
Well, it's I don't know that it's necessarily wrong. It's just one of those things where it's like it's annoying.
Exactly.
Like,
it's annoying to the comic book retailer where they've got to make 2 trips to the warehouse, one on Wednesday and one for Tuesday.
Well, they will come in. They go on Tuesday to pick up the books. What do you call it? Monday to pick up the books, and then Tuesday they have to get them the night before so that they can actually put them up.
All right, but you
they're
get my
just
point.
not allowed to sell them on those days. Yes, I 100% do. It's just that was
Sorry.
a petty point to even bring up that on my part. My bad. So still, it's the idea. Like, also, who the hell wants to make 2 trips to the comic book store? Yeah. But when DC keeps on saying first appearance of such and such and such and such, and then you got to go on Tuesday, otherwise King Robin gets bought up. Mm-hmm. You know, the first appearance of the joke killer, whatever, the clown killer gets murdered, or whatever. His book is gone, and all these different first appearances, like they're gone now because you waited till Wednesday. So you got to come in.
I'm happy for DC though. They actually figured out the first appearance hype and they're marketing towards that. Good for them.
Yeah, but then doing it on a Tuesday, it's frustrating. Yeah. But anyway, the idea is that with these books being canceled, that means that there are a lot of writers who don't have their gigs anymore. See, this is one of the things about when I used to be an engineer, all of us, except for like one guy, would be actual employees. Now, they try to screw us over in some ways. They always wanted us to not be unionized, so they would give us all titles for something. I was in my last real engineering job, I was, what was it? Senior test engineer, which is like, okay, that's a cute title and it is accurate to what I do, but there's no reason why you can't pay me hourly instead of a salary, or simply, consider the fact I work sometimes 16 hours a day, and I always work 6 days a week. Yeah, you could have paid me hourly. But anyway, they just wanted me to be salary and they didn't want us to unionize. So they gave us titles so that, no, we can't. They're all individual jobs. They're not related. So, but as far as contractors, that almost never happened. Why would you hire contractors? You need these guys to actually continue doing their job and doing what they're doing. So here you have contractors, for the wrestling field and for writing and art.
I think with writing and art, because there's different publishers, Image, DC, Marvel, and Tom Taylor works for everyone he wants to, I couldn't really consider him a salary, what do you call it? Employee.
Okay. But Chip Zdarsky has an exclusive contract with DC. But he's still a contractor.
Is that right?
He's still basically a freelancer. He's still a freelancer. Well, he's not considered freelance status, but yeah, so here's the thing.
Is he a freelancer? Is he an independent contractor?
Yeah, he's an independent contractor. He's not an employee.
Okay, got it.
Of Marvel, but so it's much like with WWE when they sit there and say, "Oh yeah, you can only work with it. You can't go to AEW. You can't do other people's house shows. You can't do anybody else's stuff. But you're not actually our employee."
But Professor, they actually agree to this and sign on it. I can't help them.
Again, we're simply going to agree to disagree on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I hear you. At the same time,
it's the thing. Yeah,
you're right. It's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like, right, if you're in the writers' union for movies and the like, you get royalties for everything that's out. Jim Cornette, I know you're not a huge fan of him, but man, the stuff that he brings to the table. Think about what he just talked about recently. I'm going to give you an update. They asked, what's the payoff nowadays for wrestlers for like Royal Rumble or whatever. It's actually you can see the video clip recently, payoff for Royal Rumble official Jim Cornette. He gets that question and he answers, he's like, well, it's funny. I used to get really big payoffs for the royalties for all the stuff that I was in. And most recently, the most recent one the royalty check that I got was for $252 or something like that. Now that Vince has it on all this stuff on the my hair's doing the Superman thing. It's
the
weird.
WWE Network, and they've got a free tier with all the old school stuff. Therefore, you're not getting royalty money.
So DVD sales aren't what they used to be. And Vince made it so it's like, well, your contract wasn't for this; it was only for DVDs. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're always going to find ways to royally screw you over. Vince McMahon is still a billionaire. And even if he's reportedly the poorest billionaire on his block, he's still a billionaire. And all these people who actually have the real talent.
Yeah, the wrestlers need to unionize just like the actors union and every other writers union and every other people who kind of have balls and stick up for themselves. And until the pro wrestlers do that, and in this case, the comic book artists and writers, until they do that, I'm not going to shed a tear.
I'm going to get back to the whole having balls to unionize and stuff like that in a couple minutes. But for now, the point is that with these titles being canceled, that also means that there are writers and artists who are now out of work, or they don't have that gig anymore that was coming in. So just because they don't have to say at DC, oh, all these writers also lost their job. All these artists also lost their job. The colorists, the inkers, the pencilers, all of them, the letterers, they all don't have gigs anymore. It still happened. These are still people without jobs. And that's bull. And a lot of that, again, is not their fault. I understand the idea that, the sales were low. But like I said, Suicide Squad is a freaking fantastic book. A bunch of these are actually really fantastic books. But without there being any advertising out there, how are you going to know this stuff? All DC would have to do is simply contact a couple of us YouTubers. Could be you, could be me, it could be Rob. Somebody who's reviewing the comic book and be like, hey, would you like to have an exclusive interview with the editor or with the writer or with somebody? Like, who would you like to have a conversation with? You know what I'm saying? And maybe get like a secret update, something that's coming up in the future will be exclusive to you. Little things like that.
You just give Comic Tom a variant cover and he'll be pushing that thing.
Comic Tom, who is now in trouble with Donny Cates for giving spoilers for Venom issue number 27. Yeah, like he's just blasting it out there. I was just like, okay, listen, all of y'all piss off who didn't read the comic book yet, because I'm about to give some spoilers, and the video is over 10 minutes, so I pushed, I don't usually do this, but this week I gave a couple spoilers, so I actually forced an ad to play in between regular comic talk and the spoilers talk. Nice. So it's like, now there's an ad also. Ha! No excuse for you not to piss off. So, and I didn't go into detail with them, just a little bit with the spoilers. You know me. I'm not here to spoil the whole damn comic. But bruh, like homeboy's in trouble. Donny Cates was like talking to this one guy. He's like, yeah, hit me up with my DMs. Let's have this conversation a little bit more. This is like 2-3 days ago. Wow. Yeah, man.
Was it Null related? I don't even know what the spoiler is, and I don't want to know it. But is it related to King in Black? Yes or no?
My lips are sealed.
Okay.
So, just the idea that, dude, this is all bad. The only thing that DC promotes is Batman and sometimes Superman. Like, what else do they really promote? These horrible ideas that they do. It's ridiculous. Everything that they've been doing is promoting just these two characters for the most part. Nobody else.
Sometimes they promote Bruce Wayne.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected. And everybody who's a comic book fan understands what an absolutely silly comment that was, and I love it. We appreciate that, Chill.
Nah, man, it's not always about Batman. The next is the animated film that DC's putting out, Batman, Soul of a Dragon.
I want to shoot people. Think about this! Think about this! Again, another freaking... And what's the one that hasn't come out yet? The DC showcase that everybody, there's the things going to be coming out. We're going to give you all this content that's already on other DVDs, but we are going to have one feature that isn't on any other DC movies. So it's exclusive to this showcase, but it's Batman. Oh, for Christ's sake. The Batman, we just talked about it recently, the interactive video with Death of Robin. And now they're going to be doing, in 2021, this Batman, Soul of the Dragon, and they're not even doing this right. So this is interesting. They're going to have, like, it's almost like they're trying to try, but they're not actually trying. They've got Richard Dragon is going to be in it, and Bronze Tiger, and Lady Shiva. We've seen Lady Shiva before. I don't think we've seen Bronze Tiger in this. He's going to be played by Michael Jai White. the guy who played the original Spawn, which is freaking epic. He was in Blood and Bone, one of the best straight to YouTube or whatever movies out there. Like, it was an amazing freaking movie, and the guy deserves a lot more credit for all that he does. There's some behind the scenes video of him giving Kimbo Slice some pointers on how to throw a punch where, you know, like, you can't tell, nobody can see it coming. Like, it's an untelegraphable punch. Like, amazing stuff. I absolutely love it. Kelly Hu's going to be playing Lady Shiva. I don't know who Mark Dacascos is, but he's going to be playing Richard Dragon, who's also an amazing character. You know, like, all these are amazing characters, but, you know, and Batman. Who do you think is going to be playing Batman? The one that everybody loves.
Is it Kevin Conroy?
Unfortunately not, because DC is a bunch of freaking jackasses. So they've got David Gruntel. No disrespect to this guy, but I don't know who the hell this guy is. Meanwhile, we still got Kevin Conroy in the news all the time because we love Kevin Conroy, and DC, doesn't want to pay him that money to have the Batman voice that we want. So it's always like DC's going to do what the hell they want to do because they want to do it, and F the fans. Buy our stuff. It's Batman. It's Batman. Because that's what these guys care about.
So here's the chance for the fans to show just how valuable Kevin Conroy is. They say we're going to skip on Knights and Dragons, or Soul of a Dragon this time.
Soul of a Dragon, yeah.
And that's that. I said Knights of Dragon because that's the Deathstroke film.
Yep.
Are they related? These are comic books, right?
No,
that they're adapting?
Yeah. No, they're not. They're not. They're different stories based on, you know, stuff that's already in the comics. But Batman Soul of Dragon's coming out in 2021, and yeah, I will be boycotting it. It's as simple as that. I will be boycotting it. I will not be watching it. I will not be buying it. I will not be reviewing it. I'm not going to watch it at a friend's house. I'm not coming over to watch it with you, Chill. I'm not coming over to watch it with you. I'm sorry, bro. So, like, I'm boycotting this because, yeah, DC, I am speaking with my dollars at this point. I'm done with you, DC. This is the game that you want to play. You want to be cowards, and sit there and, you know, oh, we're only going to put out Batman all the time. Bro, I loves me some Batman, but you're wearing it thin. You're wearing it thin right now. You've got a plethora of other characters. You don't promote them. You don't show them. You don't put them out there. And if they don't make money in the first 10 minutes of them being out there, all right, cancel it. Just cancel it. I'm canceling DC. I'm done with DC. At this point, DC is going to be sold, and Marvel's going to buy them. And then we're going to see Batman and Superman and all these other characters under Feige in the MCU, and that will be a better day. I'm not a huge fan of monopolies, but you know what? As a fan, whatever. I'm good with it. Let's see that. I look forward to that day because I genuinely believe it's coming.
Yeah, Marvel runs this.
Yeah.
Phil Coulson and his Squadron Supreme just got real.
Right? So you brought up Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons. This movie is out right now. It's animated. It's available right now on digital. And on the 17th of August, that's tomorrow. That's Monday. For us, it should be Tuesday. Why is it on Monday? That's freaking weird. It's going to be released on a Monday? Media is usually released on a Tuesday. But for whatever reason, they're saying 17th. So either Monday or Tuesday. I'm sure it's still going to be in the freaking Blu-ray section. This I will probably get because it's at least taking a chance on somebody. But it's not getting good reviews. So it's going to be available on Blu-ray, DVD. I don't know if it's going to be on Ultra. But excuse me, Knights and Dragons, the movie, the Deathstroke movie, is a CW animation seed. So stuff that happened in the CW Arrowverse, they take a little part of that and they build off of that in an animation. They've done it with the Vixen character. They put them all out in like 10-minute clips on YouTube. They did it with a bunch of other characters. They were actually pretty good. This one, however, it said that the animation is the worst that it's been. That kind of stinks, but it's an otherwise pretty good story. So whatever, you want to take a chance on it, it's out. Boom, done.
DC Fandome is coming, and I'm expecting a couple of interviews over there, a couple of news topics, maybe some Ray Fisher talk.
Maybe. So they've already got the schedule up. This is going to be on a Saturday and a Sunday. So August 22nd, Saturday. Sunday, there will be some original stuff, but most of it's just going to be replays of the stuff from the day before. So whatever. DC Fandom, DCFandom.com, Fandome, one word. And what is it? They got like the Wonder Woman 1984 panel they're going to be doing at 1 o'clock. The schedule is up. You can just look up schedule for DC Fandom. A whole bunch of stuff up there. Sandman Universe Enter the Dreaming panel. I wonder if that's in the Hall of Heroes. All this is Hall of Heroes. So, James Gunn is going to be on the Suicide Squad one talking. I imagine that G. Willow Wilson might be, or at least should be, in the Sandman one. They got a whole bunch of stuff here. Jim Lee portfolio review, where don't get excited. Don't start thinking that he's going to be talking about, all these layoffs and everything. No, he's going to be doing DC supervillain fan art. So this guy, Jim freaking Lee, for 10 minutes is going to be showing off fan art. Fans made
this is good.
Yeah.
I would know. I'm an expert. How about this one?
Right? So fans submitted art of supervillains, DC, and he's going to be like, oh, this one's actually really good. I like what you did here. And blah, blah. It's like you're going to be reviewing people's freaking art. Bruh. After we just had these layoffs and books canceled, you want to talk like you're a great CEO, man. You're a great CEO. My God, this is terrible.
Yeah. He is an artist first. We all can see it.
And only. As far as comics are concerned, he's an artist only. Yeah. What else we got, bruh?
We got the Wonder Woman art for 1984. You see that new cover where there's a fat woman on it? Is it wrong to say fat if they're actually fat? Is it wrong to insult a person who does not exist and call her fat?
She doesn't exist. Thick. I can see thick, like with 2 C's.
Yeah.
I can see that she's thick. Because you also got to remember, this does look a lot like the North. I don't know about well, just in general, the African body type. You know what I'm saying? I know that we're used to Cosmopolitan magazine and things like that, where only Beyonce and Halle Berry, for the most part, can get on there. But no, a lot of black women look like this, and I don't think it's unattractive at all. I do, however, think that it's not very superheroic. I can't see someone chasing down bad guys with their thighs rubbing together, but maybe that's just me. So like, I'm neither for it nor against it. I just look at it as whatever. It's a variant cover. That's not what the actual character is going to look like. There are people in absolute outrage over this. I can just look at this and say, this is cool. My wife looked at this. She's like, I actually like this. I'm like, would you want to see a comic book like this? She's like, yeah. I was like, do you think that she can actually hawk down some supervillains and things like that? She's like, okay, yeah, probably not. Never mind.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
depends
okay,
on
so
her power. Like the backpack kid from New Warriors. That one made sense. It was the backpack who had the power. That's why she was fat. And I was okay with that.
Yeah, and that is actually fat. That is actually fat.
You don't think that was fat? I mean, this is a podcast. We can't really... I remember her arms were thin. It's just like the body fat collected and metabolized. She
had that thunder thighs look.
Yeah,
which I've seen lots of women who are healthy look like that. The thing is,
if you would have asked those women if they could lose 10 pounds from dieting for a week, they would say yes. And so I don't want to just say it's all African women who look like that. You can say that their body metabolizes that way, but they're still fat.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing: she wasn't in shape, that's for sure. There's no definition in her muscles on the cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's just a variant cover. I'm not mad about it. I got an opinion.
Yeah. What me and you are talking about isn't what I'm hearing everywhere else. I'm just talking about what fat and what's being acceptable. Everyone else is talking about how, what are they saying? They're
actually just like offended. This is the thing. Like left, right, whatever, it doesn't matter. Today, outrage culture rules the day. Everybody's offended over something and just... Shut up. Put your head in a freaking hole.
It's a variant cover. Cares. Someone's wearing a Wonder Woman's clothing. Like, hey, let it be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is this actually Wonder Woman? Maybe it's just a fan dressing up, like cosplaying as Wonder Woman. Who cares? Who cares? You know? I'm not going to turn this into a freaking Dr. Phil dieting book. That was the first book he put out. Meanwhile, he's not very thin himself. So, I mean, like, I just look at it as, who cares, dude? Like, people getting outraged over a freaking variant cover. My God.
Sorry, guys. Back at the podcast. Ray Fisher, what was the actual update?
Oy. So the Ray Fisher update, he put out a tweet recently on August 12th. He says, during the LA reshoots for Justice League, Geoff Johns summoned me to his office to belittle and admonish my agents, he put that in parentheses, attempts to take grievances up the proper chain of command. Then he made a thinly veiled, I'm trying to read my own handwriting, forgive me for that, a thinly veiled threat to my career. This behavior cannot continue. A is greater than E. So what is that? Accountability is greater than entertainment, if I remember correctly.
You know what my issue is with that? The thinly veiled. Just say what it is, please.
I hear you. If you're in court, though, that's when you actually break out the evidence and whatnot, you know? So you can, this is, to me, I just look at this as he's keeping us updated on certain ideas and whatnot. I really do hope this is going to be a court case. I really do hope this is going to come out. And when it does, if it does, then it's going to be something. For now, I literally just see it as, you know, he's just trying to keep us abreast of what's going on. Yeah.
I can give him that. If this goes to court, then I'll be like, oh yeah, okay. In 2020, he made that one statement. I get it now. Mm-hmm. Hindsight is going to be 2020.
Yeah, hindsight, as it always is. I look at this as Ray Fisher, a guy who's never had a real acting job before. Well, excuse me, he's been an actor in like Broadway and off Broadway. I don't know if he's on Broadway, whatever, right? In plays, but he's never had a movie role before. This is his first movie role, and it was apparently supposed to be a big deal, whatever. And this was completely different for him. This was new for him. Maybe he should have had a tougher skin about some things. I can see that, but at the same time, yeah, when he's saying that I tried to take things up the proper chain of command. This is one of the situations where even if you're in your union, like, I don't know what kind of jobs you've worked before, Shell, but like, I know, like with me working retail when I was younger, if I got in what the bosses considered trouble, right? If I did something they didn't like, it would be me by myself with no representation walking into their office. So I'm already on their grounds, not my grounds, right? And then it's probably not just one manager in there. They could have 2, they could have 10. You know, they could have a whole bunch of, you know, people in there backing them up. They're the ones writing up a report, telling me to sign whatever, that I understand such and such and such. And it's like, this is already really one-sided. We already knew who's the boss and who's in charge. So if he's doing what he's got to do and taking things up the chain of command, and then he does have somebody saying, listen, man, there's a chance you're not going to get any more of these acting roles if you're going to burn your bridges with WB. If it was just something as innocuous as that and Ray Fisher took it as a threat, then that's kind of, you know, maybe grow up a little bit, bud, you know. But at the same time, I don't know Geoff Johns. I don't know the man. So maybe he was getting this from up above. I don't know. Like, how high did this go? How far does this go? And if you're stopped from going higher up the chain of command, that's just one of those situations, man. And me being former military, that's one of the things I understand more than probably most. Chain of command is crucial to making sure that morale stays what it is and that jobs get done.
Mm-hmm. The job of a black superhero should be left to Jamie Foxx because he's doing Spawn. That was a good segue. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to give you that one. I usually do give them to you. Okay, so Academy Award winner Jamie Foxx.
What movie was it? Ray that he won an Academy Award?
Yes.
Any others?
And very deserved. I think he was nominated, and he probably won. I don't know about Academy Awards. It might have been the Oscars. I don't know what it was, but I know he got some stuff for what was that one with Tom Cruise that he did? Oh, for crying out loud. Collateral Damage.
Oh.
Collateral. I think it was just called Collateral. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Collateral Damage. So anyways, he did Collateral. And it was, I thought it was a great movie up until the end. I didn't like the end part, but that's just me. But they both did an amazing job in that movie. They're like, Jamie Foxx is a freaking amazing actor, and I'm disappointed he's not in more stuff. So now he's going to be Spawn. So now the question was, how did that actually happen? Project
They saw
Power.
his performance in Electro, and they said, "Oh yeah, Project Power 2. You're right."
Oh, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't an Electro. Do not tell me that was an Electro. So he said why he's taking on the role, the title role of Todd McFarlane's Spawn. He's going to play the actual character Spawn. So here's the quote. "I surprised Todd McFarlane," Foxx said, laughing. "I said, bro, I know that one day you will do this movie, and I hope you will keep me in mind. What Black Panther did was let us know that it's so necessary, and it's the time." Really weirdly phrased thing, right? And Spawn is just an interesting character, in itself. The heads that are being put together to bring you something special, look out. That's the quote. Really weird, really weird quote. But he's just saying, apparently after he saw Black Panther and what can happen there, he's just like, yeah, it's the time for black superheroes. So, hey, I've got zero problems with that whatsoever. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm all for black people winning.
Winning awards?
Just winning.
Just winning.
Being on top of their field. Success.
Yeah, Did you see Run the Jewels? What the hell's the name of the...
Killer Mike and LP?
Killer Mike, thank you. So Killer Mike, did you see Trigger Warning with Trigger Mike, I think it's called?
Yeah,
on
Trigger
Netflix?
Warning. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6 episodes, you saw those?
Not all of them, but I saw the Cripicola one.
Nice! That was a great one. Guys, watch Trigger Warning with Trigger Mike, with the hell's his name?
Michael.
Mike. Watch this, because dude, it is really freaking good. It is hysterical, and it actually brings some good points too. The way that it actually happens is actually really good. He actually gets the Crypts to make their own cola. Yes, that's right.
And the guy was worried about high fructose corn syrup. He's like, this better have that real sugar. They're like, yeah, sugar canes.
Cane sugar, man. Well, that was actually the blood that was talking about that. He's like, I'm a vegan, man. So it's like, no, yeah, none of that high fructose corn. He's like, okay, that right there makes it good. It's healthier than Coke and Pepsi. All right, awesome. So I loved that. I thought that was freaking great. And hey, if they're looking to sponsor, I'm not even joking. I would sponsor the hell out of that freaking
Cripicola or Blood Pop.
Both. Both. And let's get some Hell's Angels jackets in here too, because equal opportunities, right? But anyway, that, dude, great stuff. And he has a bunch of those good episodes. But why the hell was I bringing that up? Oh, probably he was talking at one point. Anything that doesn't advance the black man needs to be burnt down now. That was actually part of the what is it? The
intro.
The trailer, the intro, the trailer for that. I was just like, oh, I got to watch this. What the hell is this guy talking about? Let me turn the volume up on this. Subtitles on. Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, black superheroes. Let's go.
Project Power. That was a film that took place in New Orleans. It's on Netflix right now if you want to get your superhero movie fix satisfied. And it did that for me. I liked it. Yeah,
I watched it right before I went live with my live stream earlier today, and it was with Jamie Foxx, and it was actually pretty good. I'm not going to complain about it.
Do you know what a seismograph is?
I do. I can't make a rap about it.
I want to hear all the rhymes you have. It's the seismograph.
Seismograph with Jamie. Oh wait, damn! I just had Jamie McGrath. Is that somebody's name? I think it's somebody's name. With Jamie McGrath.
You don't even remember the lines you had.
I don't. I feel my wrath as I come into the whatever. Anyway, it's been a long time. When I was younger, I actually used to battle rap. I wasn't great at it, but
you were untouchable. But you were forcing them to feel you.
You can't see me. Word life. Yeah, back to John Cena stuff. Oh man. So I think that after we're finished with this, we should probably go over to your channel and talk about Powers. What do you think?
A spoiler review, everyone. Spoilers. Everything I do on my channel is spoilers. Somebody complained about that this week.
I saw that and I thought that was hysterical.
The Kate Pride thing. And then I'm like, okay, what are you mad about? Is it because my title?
I was this close to chiming in and I'm like, I'm going to let Chill handle this. But this guy's just like a jackass.
And he had a chance to respond and he could have told me what it was I did wrong. And in the chance that he was correct, I would learn from my mistake and then I wouldn't do it again. But he just wanted to name call me.
Yeah, what was his thing? His response? Okay, buddy.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, yeah, good job. Well, great comeback. It's outrage culture, dude. People just want to be outraged over something. So, whatever.
Yeah, those are the bad ones. Like everyone usually when they come and they disagree with me, it's always like 9 times out of 10, it's always like a helpful talk or something, or they'll teach me that it was Michael Rasputin at the end of that one comic books and I should check up on him. Yeah. So Kate Pride is back, everybody. Celebrate good times. Come on. She's back alive. Jerry Duggan.
Kill Shaw.
That's the new one. Man. Death is dead.
Death is dead.
Okay, good. Quentin Quire dies once a comic.
It seems that way.
And then he's back. We don't even see the part where he comes back. It's just, oh yeah, he's back because reasons.
To turn on my lights. Can you guys see me better now? Really? Look at that. Just.
It's like a Snickers commercial. You got the lights on.
Nobody can see you when you're dark. They should do that with John Cena. Nobody can see you when you don't eat. Oh man. But yeah, I'm happy with the way that happened. We both did reviews on that. I imagine you watched mine. I definitely watched yours.
Yes.
No, thank you very much.
But I watched yours after I did mine because I don't want your opinion influencing mine when I do my reviews. As a good reviewer,
same here. Same here. So yeah, I agree. It was good stuff. The way they just kind of brought it out of nowhere. The explanation was a little bit weird, but whatever.
You want to hear an interesting thing that Joshua Cassara said? He draws X-Force, and he said in an interview on Comic Book Herald that when I was on break for this whole pandemic thing, they told me, okay, good, you finished drawing issue number, let's just say 13. Now we need you to draw issue number 12. So like he took the job away from whoever that the in-between artist was supposed to be. Maybe it was Basil Doa, but he's drawing comics before. And if he's doing that, then think about how all the other comics that got delayed, that's probably happening with everyone. Like Ryan Otley in Amazing Spider-Man is probably getting to do more issues because of the breaks. Same with Ed McGuinness in Avengers. He's a really slow artist, but I'm sure he's getting a good time to draw. What's it called? The Phoenix Returns? Enter Phoenix?
Yeah.
That thing?
Yeah, with Prince Namor.
Prince Namor. I'm interested in that.
I'm partially interested. I might read the first issue and then I'm probably just going to drop Avengers. Yeah.
So like you understand it's not like a 5-part series. It's just like issue number 40 of Avengers will be called this. Like they even nicknamed this time the Age of Khonshu is the nickname of what story we're getting now.
Yeah, that's the current arc. After this arc is, I don't.
I like
at all.
I like the style of nicknaming arcs rather than giving me event.
DC has always done that. Marvel, I think, has done that for a while too. They're just advertising this arc, like with the Marvel channel and whatnot. But yeah, no, the arcs usually have names. They're just simply better at doing that at DC. Either way, they'll have like the title of, or the title of the comic, and then they'll have like whoever's doing that run will have the title of the arc, and then each individual story has its own.
Marvel kind of just puts it on the spine of the trade paperback. But Al Ewing, when he does Immortal Hulk, I think every single book has its own name. Yeah. So he just chooses one of the 5 when he puts out the trade.
Something like that. Yeah, I think a lot of times with Marvel they'll name the arc afterwards, or the fans will refer to it as something. Like I said, DC's much better at that. But yeah, that's it might be that the original artist was, too slow, or like he got sick, or went out of town. I don't know. That does happen a lot though.
I thought it was break related, but we'll see. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So I didn't watch this episode, but I'm okay with the spoilers. I actually saw the after credits stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't watch the episode either. I just know that it finishes up with Quake.
Why are we talking about this?
For the discussion of whether or not she could be in the Agents of S.W.O.R.D.
She's not. They well, here's the thing. There
this
are
it?
several things with this. They showed that they are definitely not in the current MCU universe by moving timelines. I didn't watch the previous 2 seasons, but I still follow a lot of the stuff, and I'll watch the clips and whatnot. I just don't have time to devote to a TV series anymore. I really just don't. But so it's not actually in the same timeline anymore. That's why they started jumping through space and time and stuff like that. But also, they were going to do Agents of S.W.O.R.D. They were going to, and they had the okay from the MCU, but then it was rescinded.
Mm-hmm.
The MCU was, Feige and all. They're like, sorry, you can't do that anymore.
Do you know when that was?
This was 2 years ago, at least. I think it was 2 years ago.
Well, 2 years ago is when they filmed Spider-Man Far From Home.
There you go, figure. But I didn't watch the previous 2 seasons, but before that, they were set to go into Agents. Actually, the season before that, they were set to go into space and do the Agents of S.W.O.R.D. But then instead they started doing the time travel thing, which I still liked it. They went to not to Kree-Lar, but they went and they saw the Kree up in their space station over Earth, and the sun was wrecked, and the Earth was, like in shatters, and there was the Saj. I can't remember what they're called. They're basically like a poor man's version of the Brood.
So this is it. Chloe Bennett, that's her career. Clark Gregg, that's it. No more MCU for you. That's their Marvel career.
Possibly.
Could there be another
remember,
Quake?
This was there's going to be another. Agent Daisy Johnson is definitely going to be in the MCU. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
I'm just predicting, she's just too important of a character for S.H.I.E.L.D. in and of itself. If they continue with S.H.I.E.L.D. in any way, shape, or form, she's got to show up at some point. As far as
Coulson?
No. Chloe Bennett.
Yeah.
As far as her being it, I think that if the fans speak up enough, which they could, like I said, release the Snyder Cut has changed everything in the comic book world, so it could.
And Sonic before that. The trailer for Sonic looked
Sonic
ugly.
Before that? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Was before, wasn't it?
That's the first time I've ever remembered the fans' voice being heard. It's cool.
Yeah, literally
it's a nice
being listened to. If only they would have done that with the Ghostbusters.
If only they do that in the WWE.
If only they do that with the WWE.
You see Kamala's passing?
Yeah, that was a little sad. Kamala was a hell of a. I can't really do his voice, but he was the guy who had the 2 stars, sometimes with 7 points, sometimes with 6 points over his breasts, and the moon that was across his belly. That character was actually created by and always painted by Jerry Lawler.
I knew Jerry Lawler was an artist. I didn't know he was painting Kamala.
Yeah, he was actually painting his face, and underneath the mask he had the face paint, and he did the stars and the moon, and that was actually his idea for the characters. I just wanted to make you this unstoppable thing, and the reason why Jim Cornette actually talked about that also. He's a wealth of information. He said the guy couldn't wrestle. He simply could not wrestle. His real name is James Harris. He's a huge guy, and he looked great, but he couldn't wrestle to save his life. Even his work punches looked horrible. So there's nothing you could do with him. And Jerry Lawler was like, no, there's something we could do with him. And nowadays, this would certainly be considered a racist character by any standpoint, whatever. But
because it was.
Sure, but at the same time, it made the dude a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It made the dude a whole lot of money, and he had longevity like most characters didn't. If you remember, it was him being soundly defeated by Umaga, the first time he was ever just jobbed out. He was beat by Umaga, and that actually gave Umaga a lot of credit.
2006?
I don't remember what year it was, but I was just rewatching the match again not too long ago.
Okay.
Umaga also, rest in peace.
When he passed away, and his name being spelled Kamala, there's Kamala, what's her name? Her last name's Harris too, isn't it?
Kamala Harris, yes.
Yeah,
oh, that's funny. That is actually really funny.
I thought when I saw Kamala the word Kamala trending, I'm like, I guess Joe Biden finally chose her. And no, that wasn't the case. I think his death might have actually delayed the announcement a couple, because they said that it would come out the first week of August, but they announced it the second week. I don't know, just something I observed.
Yeah.
That's our political
I think
talk.
her name is actually supposed to be pronounced
Kamala.
Kamala, yeah. Is what it is. So, anything else? Are we literally at the bottom of this list?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, shoot. I guess we're done then. You got a witty outro?
I got Chill's Headcanon. How did I forget to do that?
Hello.
The Chill's Headcanon. Krakoan drug decreases the effects of aging by 5 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Or how could they come up with that conclusion? How could they know that this will add 5 years to your life? I kind of gave it away in the way I just said it now. That's because you actually have a heart. You have skin. You have these markers of aging. When that drug is taken, the doctors can determine, oh, look, the effects of aging have reduced. How much? By 5 years, by this many days. That's why we know that extends your life by 5 years. It doesn't actually, because, 5 years would have to pass. We'd actually need to have like long-term studies to determine that. But the reason we came with 5 years is because that's how much, your hair, your grays, their balding, everything that affects by age.
Well, we know that smoking decreases your life by, depending on how much you smoke, on average of like 7 years.
So if you're a smoker and you took the drug and your lungs got 5 years healthier, then that's the way that they decided it.
Well, there's several things about the drugs. One is it cures many physical ailments. Another drug cures many mental illnesses, and that alone will help you live longer. But then
I don't remember that going that way. Are you sure that's how it went? Because I remember it differently.
What do you remember?
I remember there was a drug that was separate. That was the 5-year drug. And then there was another drug that cured all illnesses. Not mental, not... And
there are 3 drugs.
Yeah? Yeah, the third one was a dangerous one, wasn't it? It was... Okay, we'll just take your word for it, since I don't know exactly what I'm talking about.
No worries. So that right there would let you live longer to begin with, being healthier. But on top of that, also a drug that helps you live for 5 years also. You probably live like to 120, 125, I think Moses lived to be 120 years old. Something like that, according to the Bible. But yeah, no, they can, that's usually checked by the DNA. We actually know the tag that causes your body to deteriorate with age. And while we can't necessarily determine how long someone will live now, it's the idea that we've actually recognized it. On top of that, the idea of, I'm like thinking of too many things at one time and I'm trying to tick them all off as I'm going. Crap, I'm going to remember it after we leave if I don't remember it now. And that's going to eat me up that I didn't get to spit it out. But the, friggin' A. I should probably just drop it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I should just drop it. All right, fine. All right, I'm just going to drop it. So that's the podcast.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys later. Professor Bill and Shellmonger, Comic Book University.
Class dismissed.